Okay, so this is a really cool lesson where we're going to start looking at composites, i.e. combining photos, or in other words, taking one photo or even two photos and placing them into other photos, cutting out pieces of photos, placing other pieces from other photos. Let's get into it. So just to let you know what we're working with, as you can see, we've got one layer with a deer. The background's a bit blurred, but it seems to be in its natural background. So as you can see here, we've got our deer layer that's clearly highlighted and it's activated. In the background, let's hide our deer. We can see we've got a foggy forest, which will work also as a natural environment for our deer. So we're going to place our deer into that environment. And for an extra touch of magic, we've actually got this branch here that's sort of shaped like antlers. So we're going to place those antlers onto the deer. Again, all of this is part of Adobe's training tutorial that's built into the software. I'm just working through these tutorials and taking you along for the ride for me. So if you've got a license for Adobe Photoshop, you can follow along. If you get stuck, perhaps these videos might help you along. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with our deer layer. Yep, reactivate it in the menu. And we've also got activated, again, as you can see here with the eye that's selected, our forest layer. Now the reason we can't see any of these is because we've also got our branch layer activated. So let's deactivate that. Remember, the order of layers are all important when messing around with Photoshop. Alright, so this is going to be our starting point. And I believe this layer is also activated. This Adobe Stock Legal layer is also activated by default. So let's activate that. All this does, as you can see at the bottom here, it reminds us that this is Adobe's work, or their employees or someone affiliated with Adobe, which isn't me. Alright? It's not necessary, but perhaps, just so you know it's there. So our first step is to select our subject. In this case, our subject is our deer. So let's select that layer, over here to the right side on the menu. And once selected, I'd like you to go up to select on the top menu and click on subject, as in the subject of our photo. And notice, after a bit of Adobe magic, the entire deer gets selected automatically. How cool is that? Our next step is to create a layer mask. Now what this is going to do is basically hide everything else other than our subject. So in other words, hide the background and keep the subject. So make sure your deer layer is still selected. And just to the bottom here, where we have this icon that's sort of shaped like a camera, we click on Add Layer Mask. And as you can see, our photo is already taking shape. We've immediately transported our deer from its previous background into our nice sort of foggy woods. So we've got something going on here, like a horror movie. Alright? Now notice the feet of our deer looks a bit off. It's almost like it hasn't got any feet. It's not really blended that well into the ground. So let's see what we can do about that. I'd like you to select the brush tool on the left menu. A brush tool. And next to the top, we should see, once our brush tool is selected, we should see some presets. Right here where you see this dot, as in the size of our brush, I'd like you to select 80 as the size of your brush. 80, that's great. And hardness we can leave at 0, so we've got a soft brush. And click enter or anywhere else on the canvas, and that should set the size and hardness of our brush. Next, I'd like you to click just here on this small icon with 2 small squares, not the big one, the small squares. Then I would like you to click on these curved arrows. Just click on it once. And notice the change it makes over here on the right side of our canvas. Yeah? What this does is it switches the colors to bring the black to the foreground or place it in the background. You can also see the change being made just here to the left side. What we would like for our purposes is to have the black in the foreground. So basically, we like black to be at the front. Okay? And now that we've got black at the front, I would like you to use your brush to just touch up the legs of the deer. Just helps to blend them in a bit better into the bushes. Can you see that? Alright, cool. It's a small touch, but it does make a difference for the discerning eye. Okay, now it's time to get our antlers prepared. That nice pretty branch we had that we was going to use to create custom antlers for our deer, it's time to do that. So first, I'd like you to click on your branch layer and activate it. Yep, just to the left where we see the empty box. I want you to click on it so it's now visible. Naturally, it hides everything else. We know that would happen, or we knew that would happen. Our next step is to select the select option at the top of the screen, and next select color range. Just left click on that, and now we can see the sub menu that pops up here. Alright. Now what I'd like you to do is ensure to the top of this menu box sampled colors is selected. Yeah. Next, make sure the first dropper icon is selected. We're going to use this to take a sample of our background. In this case, it's already selected. Alright. Invert also will probably be deselected in your menu box. So let's deselect that. So our stages are, make sure sampled colors are selected. Make sure we select the first dropper. And what I'd like you to do is set fuzziness to around 70. I've done this before, which is why some of the settings are already where they need to be. So in order, sampled colors is selected, fuzziness at 70, and your first dropper icon is selected. Now, with the dropper icon selected, I want you to move over to a white part of the picture and left clicked on it. And once you've left clicked on it, I want you to go back to the sub-menu option here and select invert. And notice the background goes black in our preview and all of the branch is selected in white. That's okay. That's what we want. I would like you to now click on OK. And now you should know what's next. We would add a layer mask to our branch layer. So just below here where we can see our little icon that's sort of shaped like a camera, we click on that and boom, you can already see what's happening here. Of course, this branch is way too big to be an antler, so we need to resize it. So let's resize and position our antler to be. Alright, make sure you've still got your branch layer with your mask layer selected. And now I'd like you to go to Edit and select Free Form. Where is it? Edit Free Form. There it is. And notice now we've got these adjustable borders. These borders aren't for the entire photo, it's for the layer we've got selected, which is our antler layer. So we can start bringing that in, and notice we start resizing our antler. Now of course notice how the antlers on the deer has sort of curved into almost 45-degree angle. We would need to also curve our branch, and the way we do this, we've done this in a previous lesson. If we hover just outside of the border, you can see the arrows turn into a sort of arch, which means we can now rotate left or rotate right. In this case, we like to rotate clockwise. Should do it for now, and let's click the center of the image and drag it over the deer. Alright, it's a bit off, you can angle it a bit to suit your needs. Let's see. Alright, that almost looks perfect. Let's bring it in a bit, bring it down a bit. It's getting there, right? Turn a bit. Turn a bit more, bring it in. Alright, I think I'm happy with that just for now. Now obviously we need two antlers. Fortunately we don't need to do all of that again. We can just duplicate our existing antler. So we go to layer, and guess what? And next we select, where is duplicate? Duplicate layer. It's right here at the top, I missed it. And as we can see, it appropriately names our layer to be branch copy. I'm okay with that. Let's click OK. And we've created another branch layer. Of course, it created it just over the existing one. Same shape, same size, which is good for symmetry. But we'll have to move it in order to see that it's there. Okay, time for our final touches. With your branch copy layer selected, yep, I'd like you to head over to Edit, then Transform, and in the sub-menu of Transform, you click Flip horizontally, not vertically, horizontally. Notice now we can clearly see our second branch, or our branch copy. Make sure you've got the Move tool selected, 4-directional arrow. It's usually the first icon, and click on our branch copy. Now make sure you don't just click anywhere random in the photo, otherwise you'll start moving around the canvas and get a bit frustrated trying to work out why it is you can't move your branch copy. This happened to me when I first started, so make sure you click somewhere on the second branch. This thick part of the branch here is usually a good spot. And now as you can see, we can drag our second branch over to the second antler. And how cool is that? And there we have it. We started with a deer in a blurred background, and we've placed that deer into nice foggy woods and we've added some blossoming branches as antlers. We also did some background foreground magic to get the hooves, there's half hooves, feet, blended into the ground. Alright, that's it for this lesson, and I'll see you again in the next one of the series. Thank you for watching.